Good morning. But I have to pause because it's such an honor to be amongst this group. I'm so touched to be here. As we gather this morning, there are 68.5 million displaced people living in the world. They live in tents, in camps, in shanties around the world. Most of them, the average displaced person will live that way for over a decade. If they were a country, they would be just below the size of France and larger than the United Kingdom. Current projections, the most conservative current projections, are that by 2050, there will be 200 million forcibly displaced people in the world. The response, the global response to this has been, as you have all seen, dramatic. We've seen the rise of right-wing politicians in Hungary and Poland. We've seen the rise of nationalist parties that were considered extinct in Germany and France. And of course, we've seen it in stark relief in our own country based on the 2016 election in our current debate about whether we should have a wall by emergency or other matters. But while we think about our boundaries and we think about what it is to disconnect, it begs the question of what it is to connect. What is our connection? What is our allegiance to other? And who are we in that connection, and how does it define us individually and as a society? So in that dramatic context, I went out to try to find the answer. As a journalist, as an author, as a writer, I went and do what I always do. I go and I talk to people, and I listen to their story. But in this context, today's context, that was a little more interesting, because the question I had was how? How in this world of seemingly endless information, but no connection, could I begin to create a bridge? How could I make that connection? And so what I decided is that what the research was starting to tell us, what I decided is that the answer was right in front of us. And that answer is the empathetic imagination. That while we are tribal, we are also empathic. And that art can be that bridge. And that if I could design that art in a certain way, we could begin to create those bridges. So I put these works out here as art, and then I interview each of the refugees to listen to their story and find what I considered a found poem which accompanies that work. And I've been traveling this exhibition, and in that process of putting the artwork in every place that the exhibition goes, we come together as community and we talk. And so that's the process that we're in here. We've been having this work out here for you to discover for the last month. And now this month, we start to talk. We're starting to talk today. I'll be here next Sunday after service to talk about it from an artistic context. And on the 13th, we'll have a community program of experiencing empathy, of talking and listening and learning from each other and finding the ways that we bridge and find that common connection. So I hope next on the 13th, you all join me. As I've seen the roof get knocked off here once already, I hope we can knock it off again in a celebration of empathy and connection. And then we'll take that out into the world to begin to define a society that might be just a bit more inclusive and more welcoming for all of us as a global community. So thank you.